Did you vote for the SAG Awards?
Nope.
Are you gonna?
Nope. I haven't watched enough. I won't be voting.
You suck.
There's no point in me voting if I haven't seen anything.
It's true. I don't vote for things I haven't seen.
I would like to watch enough before, but
We
Probably won't happen.
got the chance. Speaking of the SAG Awards, I got to take Ashley to see a screening of Anora, and Mikey Madison was there talking about the experience, and it was wonderful. Man, if you want to know the difference, the movie-going experience with an audience, especially an audience of actors, man, SAG audiences are the best audience to watch a film with because they just
jerking each other
it's
off.
the best, man. But Anora is a great film, but if you can see it with an audience, it's even better.
It's going to win the best picture.
You think? What do you think, Mikey? I'll tell you what, man.
Gold Derby says
If Mikey is doing the promotion stuff for the Oscars and campaigning the way she is for the SAGs, I mean, she won the BAFTA.
Who's Mikey?
Mikey Madison is the star of Anora, and she won the BAFTA.
Yeah.
She's campaigned. Everyone was saying Demi Moore, Mikey might, and it's worthy. She does a fantastic job in Anora.
It's gonna be a
fantastic job.
Emily Perez.
The biggest, the baddest, wackiest, funniest, filmiest show on earth.
Never fall.
Hey, welcome back to our Stupid Rex of Corbin.
I'm Mikey Madison.
Follow us on Instagram and Twitter for more juicy content. Thank you to our source on Patreon. Follow the official Twitter account. Subscribe. And hit the link button.
Her speaking voice, by the way, Mikey.
Who?
Mikey Madison.
Who's that?
We're just talking about her.
Oh.
So her character in Anora is this girl who lives in Brighton Beach in New York, and she sounds like it. But Mikey's actual speaking voice, she started to talk. I'm like, where have I heard that voice? And then it dawned on me, and I turned to Ashley and I said, she sounds like Stephanie.
Don't talk about my wife.
Mikey Madison's normal speaking voice is very reminiscent of your wife.
Don't talk about my wife. Today, what are we doing, Rick?
We're talking about Mikey Madison and Anora.
Today we got a conversation with Shah Rukh Khan.
Shah Rukh Khan.
It's the making of a star. A conversation with Shah Rukh Khan.
The milking of a
And this
star.
is at the World Government Summit. Apparently, Shah Rukh Khan is the king of the world.
The World Government Summit is talking about the making of a star?
I don't know.
That's weird.
He's just there. It was last year in February, I guess. I don't know. But apparently said that it was a conversation. It was fun. And as always with Shah Rukh Khan,
Well,
good to listen to.
He's always good to listen to. He's
Yes, he is.
articulate. He's witty.
Here we go.
Yeah.
It's not often that I'm downright intimidated by the person I'm about to interview.
And this is the
Kristalina
same situation.
Georgieva, easy for lunch. But SRK is a legend,
What a voice.
aren't you?
He's a legend.
You're being very sweet.
okay. He's a
Richard,
legend. He's almost.
like I told you, I'm not
Fake.
a legend. I'm Bond. James Bond.
He would make a great Bond.
He'd make a great Bond.
I told you that at the backstage.
Say that again. Go on. What's your name?
Bond. James Bond.
Got a little British.
He did.
He acted it.
Would you like to play Bond?
Hell yeah.
I'd really wanted to, but I think I'm too short.
What about Bond Baddie?
Barry, yes, of course, I'm brown enough.
If we look
And he'd make a
at
great Bond villain,
your
too.
Hell yeah.
career, how many years?
Now, I think actively including television, 33 years now. I've been actively working as an actor.
But to have reached the level of stardom that you have reached, and for the length of time, is quite an achievement. It's more than that. It's a huge achievement. But it speaks to more than just, obviously, the raw talent, but it also speaks to perseverance, the ability to keep
character to
going,
do.
which is something that's so crucial.
That guy's a great character. dude.
I think it's, perseverance is, I think it happens to some people. You don't have any option but to persevere. So maybe when I was young, I lost my parents very early, and then you realize that, okay, there's no rewinding this, there's no coming back from death, and you have to continue, make the most of what you have. So I was kind of a youngish orphan, and I had to work my way through it. or it could be just part of nature. You know, it's the nature of the beast that you are just with dogged determination. You keep on working.
Where does that come from?
I don't know. I've always tried to analyze it. That why do I do what I do? Why do I wake up in the morning and just start doing it all over again, even when it's? I think it taught me, the work that I do, making films. The result happens very suddenly. You think you made the best of films. You think it's the nicest of stories to tell. You think the world is going to love it. And you wake up on a Friday morning and realize it's the biggest flop of your career.
Which happened.
Which happens more often than not. Or sometimes you don't like a film and that becomes the biggest hit of your career. And you say, like, how did this happen?
Yeah.
But what I realized, and I want to say this to everyone actually, and I say this to everyone who's working with me or people who know me, that on Thursday evening, because our films release on Fridays, mostly, or Thursday evenings here in Dubai. So Thursday evening at home in Mumbai, I rinse myself with a 2-hour bath and rinse myself of the work that I've done. Because what happens...
Well, hang on.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that bath.
It's a ritual, yeah.
Is it a ritual? I mean, do you put special oils and scents? Do you have bath salts? Do you prepare with candles?
I'm not telling you my secret. You come and take a bath with me. Easy. I'm an actor. I'll show you how to do it.
Should I take him up on his offer?
Hell yes.
Oh, I'll take a bath with that, okay?
You carry on, sir.
Okay. No, but honestly, I do because, I realize when you do a big hit film, it's done well and you're very happy and everybody's jumping around. Friday happens, Saturday happens, Sunday happens. And you realize this is a big blockbuster, but Monday I have to get back to work to make a better film. You made a flop film, Friday you're sad, Saturday you're crying, Sunday you're moping and you're not waking up from bed. Monday you have to get back to work and start making a better film. So Mondays are for trying to make better films always, so you have to persevere.
Okay, but let me be crude. You don't need the money.
No, I need the money.
Oh, you do?
The bath oils are very expensive.
Fine. If you had to define the quintessential SRK film, what would it be?
DDLJ.
I've said this before. I was telling you behind. I don't know when it happened, Richard, to be honest. I didn't realize it. I never wanted to be someone who's, like I say, peddling love or seller of dreams. I wanted to be an action guy with 8-packs and beat up people, be in a white vest, girl on my side with a Glock in my hand, and speak in baritone and things like that. But I never got the opportunity. I don't know. When I started off, suddenly everybody started to think of me as someone who's, promising hope, giving hope, and spreading love. Like I spread my arms again and again. So I think my regular film would be a film that gives you hope, gives you goodness, gives you happiness, and at the end of it all, lots of good songs.
Yes, but you've also, there's a great YouTube video, 4 minutes of your best entrances.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of action in them.
Yeah, only entries, no exits. I just keep entering again and again. My kids get very, when I have 3 kids, and whenever that video plays, and I have to tell you a secret, we've compiled it from the office. I think it looks just very cool. It's not made by others. We've made it. So whenever a show like this happens, and if you allow me to show a video here, we'll show you me just entering some places and very dramatically and romantically. But my kids make a lot of fun of it. Whenever I get a little serious with them, they'll just look at me and say, "Oh my God, he's doing those entries from his video, SRK." So it does become a...
Do you want to give us an example?
Oh yeah, I can do that.
Yeah,
You want to walk up?
With your permission, sir, we'll...
If it's okay, yeah?
Yeah, go on.
I like the theme music.
Is there something you would not do
Kiss.
on screen?
Kiss.
On screen, I don't know. I wouldn't be... I'd like to give hope in my films. The stories that I tell, I hope they end with hope. I know I've done some really sad films also. I've done films which are tragedies. But somewhere down the line, I just hope that I can give hope in films. So I don't like to give hopeless cinema or hopeless stories, because I think in life and in businesses and in jobs and world, there's enough sadness.
So you're extremely well known here, obviously because of the Indian population that is here and elsewhere. But you like it here. You have a home. You are not a here today, gone tomorrow person for Dubai.
No. I spend a lot of time here. I have a beautiful house which has been given to me by Nakhil, and it's one of the nicest places in the world because nobody troubles me. And His Excellency the Prime Minister also just told me that he stays next to it. So the next New Year party is with him. He's a good neighbor. But it's really nice. I really enjoy being in Dubai. I really love being here.
And you find the juxtaposition with going back to Mumbai.
No, this is very easy. It's just 2.5 hours away.
Right.
So I keep dropping in. We come with the kids. And there's so much to do here. I'm sounding like the tourist ambassador of Dubai.
Exactly.
Right?
Everybody asks about crossover. And I'm no different. Because the more I researched, the more I wondered. I mean, all right. Supposedly, 2011, DiCaprio never happened. Supposedly, allegedly, Slumdog Millionaire you turned down, allegedly. Why hasn't the crossover taken place? I don't see why it should. You're a big enough name in your own genre. But why has crossover not taken place?
I've said this honestly, but nobody believes it. So I'm going to say it to you very honestly. Nobody's ever offered me any work, crossover, of substance. I may have had conversations with people. I know lots of lovely people from the West, from the English film industry, from the American film industry. But nobody's offered me any good work. You know, I hear actors talk about, oh yes, I want to crossover, I want to take Indian cinema. I think I still have to learn how to be able to deliver to the audience that likes me. And, you know, instead of spreading myself too thin. And then, yeah, of course, if you've not been offered a job, how do you take it? So really, I've never been offered a film in Hollywood or in England.
Wow.
Yes, Slumdog was there, now that you mention it. And I spent a lot of time with Mr. Boyle. He's very sweet. But I was doing Who Wants to Be a Millionaire on television.
Successfully
At that time. And I just felt in the story that was being told, the guy who was hosting was very mean. In the story that was being told. And I'm like, you know, I'm here doing Slumdog Millionaire. And the guys who were producing the show wanted me to do the film. I just found it, you know, this guy's... I was cheating and being dishonest as the host. So I just found that it's very strange that I'm being a host and I'm cheating in the film. So I explained to Mr. Boyle that I wouldn't like to do it, please. And they're way better actors than me. And I think Mr. Anil Kapoor did it, and he was fantastic as the host.
When the person's getting close to 1 million, well, the top in Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, that moment, what do you feel?
That moment.
Genuinely, when I was hosting it, I would hope they win it. I really hope they win it.
But I've done a quiz show myself, and there comes a point when you think, how close can I get to getting them to win it without...
Yeah.
Did you know what I mean?
I always did that, you know, when I was, because there's so many people from different parts of the country, and I really want them to win, and you do try to be a little helpful.
But you can't.
You can't, because the producer keeps shouting in your ears, don't, you've said enough,
Cut it off.
You can't talk about it. And unfortunately, the last 4 questions or the last 2 questions are extremely difficult, you know, suddenly they're thrown upon you, and you're like, oh my God, this person is not going to get the answer. And I feel really bad. And I try to think, I wish I had some hint, and I can't mislead the person by trying to give that hint, because I also mostly didn't know the answer.
So what is left that you have not done that you would like to do?
What is left?
And by that, I that's not a Hollywood question. That is a general, you know, even within your own, within Indian films, within production, within what still remains on your list?
So, Richard, when I started off, I just wanted to survive. You know, be able to get a week's work or a month's work or a year's work and say, okay, my films should do well. But as years have gone past, I think my whole job has become more and more motivated towards bringing a new technology into Indian film industry. I want to end my career, which is far from ending right now. I have another good 35 years to go.
Right on.
I really want to make that film which is loved by the whole world, And then nobody on a big stage like this asks me, why haven't you crossed over? That film should cross me over. That's my view.
Great answer. That's a nice answer.
I'd want you to learn Hindi and Urdu and Arabic to be able to understand that film.
Did you go on a massive retreat of personal introspection between 2018 and 2023? You just had 2 or 3 films that were not as successful. Suddenly he disappears, and everybody thinks, oh, he's licking his wounds, he's feeling sorry for himself, whatever. And then he comes back in 23 with 3 blockbusters. What was going on in that interim period?
So you're very kind. Yes,
really
I had massive flops.
What was
And
going
did it
on?
very, very
So
badly.
passionate.
And I was doing all of that. I was licking my wounds. I was not in. You know what I did?
Yeah.
For 4 years.
Go on.
I've never said this to anyone, though I've mentioned it. But today, here, I'll tell everyone. I learned how to make the best pizza in the world. That's what I did. Honest to God. I stopped listening to stories. I stopped wanting to tell stories. I found myself and made myself a small kitchen. And I started learning how to make pizzas. And I learned what you asked me right to begin with, perseverance. Because to get the perfect pizza, it takes millions of square pizzas before you're able to make it completely round. So I learned perseverance, and I'll make the best pizza in the world.
Can you?
No. I'm working on it. Next 4 years, when you don't see me, next time.
Was it a
He reminds
difficult
me a little bit of
moment
James Lipton.
Yeah.
Just a
when
little bit.
your
He's got that
wife,
same
your
intensity
family, and
where
everybody
you ask a
said,
question and it's just
will you stop making pizza?
pause.
Go back to work. Was it difficult to know now is the time to go back?
Yeah, actually, there was always a toss-up. I was very glad my family didn't tell me, listen, your pizzas are better than your films, stop making films. so I was glad they turned around and said, no, as good as your pizza is, I think your films are better. They were very encouraging, especially my children, my team, some of them are sitting here, and they said, okay, what you're going to do is tell stories. And I'd become indulgent. I'd started becoming too innovative. I was looking for perfection. And I started failing. I needed to look for excellent, I needed to be unique, but I needed to look at the audience, what they want, and I'd stopped hearing the crowds. I used to go where there are thousands and lakhs of people waving at me, but I wouldn't hear or feel what they wanted to see of me. I was going there and waving, and I'm saying, whatever I make, I'll be innovative. So I did a film about a vertically challenged guy. I did a film about a manic psychopathic fan, and I'm like, no, people just like to see me giving hope and happiness and love, so let's get back to that.
And as a result, the movies that you came back to make, and there were 3 of them last year, were huge successes. Therefore, that introspection clearly worked. That clearly did the trick.
Yes, mashallah, I think it just helped me realize that whatever you do, you have to do for the people or your consumers or your audiences. And yeah, it also made me realize one very main thing, that don't forget to pray. You have to pray and you have to get back to work.
Sir, I'm going to leave you with one. I'm sorry, I've forgotten. What was your name again? Your name is Bob?
Bond. James Bond.
He's available for the offers. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, everyone, for that.
He's available. Yeah, he's close to Fagin.
He's quite close to Fagin.
But I'm making him a little too dark because he has a dark voice, but he's actually very uplifting.
Yeah, he's an uplifting, bright
Yeah.
person, passionate. He just has this smoky, raspy.
He's quite the opposite of RFK, who's hate that
Well,
guy.
he has a strained.
No, his is worse than that.
His is a strained part.
Jesus
I could probably get Bobby Kennedy if I worked on it.
Jesus Christ.
But Bobby's right in here somewhere.
No, he's not there.
Yeah, it's
No, he's terrible.
in that where.
No.
It's not affected.
Oh, God, it's terrible.
He's got damage to his vocal cords.
I wish they would be damaged more so he couldn't talk.
That's his actual speaking voice.
Oh, I know, and it's awful. This guy's, though, is great. And, of course, Shah Rukh Khan's is great. He's such a... might be one of the most well-spoken people in the public eye.
Yeah, he is. He's
such a well-spoken
so
man.
well-spoken. Wasn't his TED Talk the first thing we ever saw him do when it was just him speaking and we were really impressed with how articulate he was?
It's hard to tell. We've seen
Yeah.
that probably.
We've seen a lot
We've
of him.
probably seen more SRK interviews than any other
Anybody,
person.
I bet.
Probably.
Without question.
And he said, as we always say, he's at such a unique place that very few other people in the world are at.
Yeah.
His level, what his fans expect from him. And like nobody else is really in his outside of maybe India, there's a few people. But he's just in such an interesting spot. I love the answer he gave about the crossover. He wants to make an indie film so big that the entire world recognized, like an RRR, basically, and nobody would question when he needs the crossover.
Yeah.
That was a nice answer. And this interviewer, it sounds like I don't know who he is. He might be a reporter. He might be I'm sure he's a well-known person in the industry.
Yeah.
Because he's very good at interviewing. He hardly ever rebutted.
No. Yeah, absolutely.
And
He just
normally
let him answer and just go to the next question.
Go on, flow to the next part of the
Something he
conversation.
said, if you're surprised by it, I'm not. When he said the reason he hasn't done a Hollywood film is because he hasn't had any offers, that doesn't shock me.
It does me to an extent, but go on.
It surprises me, but it doesn't shock me. For the same reason, there's this misconception that if you're a star, you get a big break, that the work is guaranteed. Great example is when we saw Mikey Madison's Anora thing, the lady from Variety said to her at the outset of her questions, is how does it feel to know that everybody now is seeing your work and the offers must be coming in? Mikey didn't address the second part of that question at all. I doubt, just because it's really crazy. She just won the BAFTA.
I'm sure she will.
She's nominated for an Oscar. But that doesn't mean a thing.
She'll get it.
That doesn't mean a thing.
She'll get it now.
She will probably. I mean, the thing is she going to have good people on her team that are helping her continue to work, and she's going to get offers more than the average bear. But there's no guarantee.
Yeah.
In fact, she said, while you're doing something like this, the thought is this it? Is this going to be the one thing I do that gets me in the circles I'm in right now? And then she said, because I've gone, you do something. She did Scream, and then you go a year with no work.
Yeah. The guy from Aladdin said the same thing, but he's a terrible actor. So
yeah, there's no guarantees, and it depends on industry as well. So, for example, I know of an actor from New York who is an Emmy-winning soap actor, has won Emmys with his soap work. Came here to pursue TV and film in L.A.
Going from making soap to acting? Wow.
Soap operas. Nobody cared that he was an Emmy-winning actor for soap operas because they said that doesn't necessarily translate to network television stuff that's just scripted drama or sitcoms or film. We don't care. Great, you have an Emmy. Big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it doesn't shock me. It surprises me, but it doesn't shock me.
It shocks me because I'm sure you heard about what Ethan Hawke's daughter said. He's in Stranger Things. Maya Hawke.
Yeah. I don't know.
About how they cast in some films. Like Ethan Hawke, he talked about it as well, but he said it surprises me in films when I get cast in a film and then they said, oh, you should cast in this film, this person. She's like, oh, who is that? She's like, oh, she has 10 million followers. And Ethan's like, well, great. Has she ever acted before? She said, no, but she's got 10 million followers. And so like they, especially for the smaller parts, apparently Maya Hawke said there's a certain follower quota for smaller roles
in an independent film
that's some producers ask
in an
to
independent
get for.
film. Yeah.
To make the quota for the films if the star doesn't have enough, because she's talked about deleting her Instagram and stuff like that before.
Right.
But so that's why it surprised me, because maybe it's just ignorance. If you put him in a film, you're getting millions of sales in India.
Potentially.
Just because he is in it. So
Potentially.
that's way more than you would get from an influencer.
It's true, but the influencer thing is not as big of a thing as it's made out to be. There's a lot of actors that think they're losing parts because influencers are just booking them left and right. They're not. The majority of producers, the majority of producers aren't looking at your social media following. Independent films, it'll matter if you don't have a name, because if they're going to cast somebody who has no social media following versus somebody who has 10 million followers, the likelihood that those 10 million followers might help is helpful. But I know of a particular show that specifically producers told the director, cast that person because they have like 25 million followers. And it did nothing.
No, that's what I'm saying, though. SRK has that following.
Yeah.
So, like, if they're like, oh, you know who the new Bond guy is? It's Shah Rukh Khan. You're adding millions of sales that might not have gone to see the film already.
Making Shah Rukh Khan a Bond villain.
Oh, it would be so good.
Is a no-brainer, Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer.
Make sure the character
He's
is good.
got the capacity to give you what you want as an actor. Mm-hmm. And it instantly becomes internationally accessible in a way that no Bond film has had, because of the fact that your star is going to be the single most entry-level successful Bond villain in the history of the Bond franchise. Period.
Yeah.
Why you wouldn't offer that to Shah Rukh Khan is out of... I don't understand.
I think it might be just ignorance. Even though, like, people in the industry, they know, but they don't really know the style of following that some people have in India.
No. That's evident when you watch Dave Letterman's episode for an hour with Shah Rukh Khan, and how Dave is oblivious. Dave Letterman, top of the food chain in the entertainment industry. Oblivious.
Maybe they don't care because they know that the rupee isn't as valuable. And so, like, the sales that they would get in India, like, compared to what they would get for...
Yeah.
Even though, obviously, you would also get U.S. sales because SRK, very popular in America.
Yeah.
For the Indian audiences.
Yeah, what's funny is that most people I talk to, they may not know Indian cinema, but if you say the name Shah Rukh Khan, most people I talk to will say, yeah, that name, I know that name. Mm-hmm. They may not be able to place it, but they know Shah Rukh Khan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Make him a Bond villain, Jeff.
I think he'd do great as a Bond villain.
He'd be a fantastic Bond villain.
Great as always. Love listening to old Shah Rukh.
Yeah.
Here. Old Rook, as I like to call him.
Old Rook?
Old Rook.
Yeah.
How old is he?
I want to say he's 58, 59, something like that.
What's 35 years added to 58, 59?
That puts him in his late 80s to early 90s.
I think it puts him in his 90s, 35 years. So if let's say he's...
Yeah, puts him right at 90.
60.
Puts him right at 90.
That'd be 90...
Right about 90.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sir Anthony Hopkins is still working.
Not well, though.
He's doing the best work of his career.
Oh, well.
He's just gotten better with age, man.
I don't know about that.
Did you see The Two Popes?
I did, but...
Did you see Father? Where he plays the dad who's got Alzheimer's when he won an Oscar for? He's doing phenomenal work.
Yes, but he's done phenomenal work for... That's what I'm saying. I said, I don't know that you could say it's better than anything he's ever done.
Well, I think
it's equal to.
I think those two things are actually my two favorite Hopkins performances ever.
What about Thor 2?
Not so much.
Anyways, let us know what other SRK interviews we can react to down below.
The biggest, the baddest, wackiest, funniest, filmiest show on earth.
Never fall.